Hey there, good morning or afternoon or evening, depending on where you are tuning in from. Welcome to this live stream. We're going to give away a bunch of things today. We're going to be giving away some mouthpieces, some great Jody Jazz mouthpieces, as well as the new course, 21 Major Key Explorations from Eric Alexander, which is available on bettersax.com. So while we wait for some people to show up, and we've already got quite an audience, let's say hello, and I'd love to see where you're from, where you're tuning in from in the comments. And I'm hoping my audio and video are okay for everyone. If there's something wrong, let me know. So we've got Chip is here. What's up, Chip? We've got Pietro tuning in from Italy. Nice image there of Coltrane. Pietro, welcome. We've got Andy tuning in from London. We've got Max from Switzerland. We've got, Peter from Stockholm, Sweden. Rick from Phoenix. Oh, Rick, you've gotten up early. I appreciate that, Rick. We've got Peter from Australia. Oh, Drew from Mississippi. Oh, we got Gavin from Dubai. We've got Dennis from the Philippines. Augustus from South Carolina. I'm sorry, I can't read Korean, but welcome from Korea. And Anode from Singapore. Michael from Orlando. Yeah. Okay. And we've got Frank from Virginia. West Virginia. Canada, Justin from Canada. Sermit from Russia. Wow. Well, it's great to have so many of you here. I saw Africa. We got South Africa. Nicholas from South Africa. Paul from Denmark. Wow, we've got India in the house. Hope you guys aren't making up crazy places. Just making me think you're tuning in from all over the world. We got Malaysia representing, Belgium, Slovenia. Oh, Luca. Hey, Luca. Luca is one of our Better Sax studio members. who's been sounding great. If you guys don't know, those Better Sax Studio is a program where saxophone players can join. They get monthly lessons, and they could submit videos and audio recordings, and they get feedback from myself and Steve Cortica, who was one of the other faculty members. It's been a lot of fun. Every month there's new lessons. We're working on jazz standards, and it's fantastic. All right. And we even got South America representing from Chile, Portugal. All right. And what we're going to do, welcome everybody, and welcome to everyone who's tuning into the replay later on. I know not everyone can be present, but I appreciate everyone who's here very much, and definitely everyone who's watching the replay. If I call your name, you don't have to be present to win, but be nice. After I announce the winners, we've got a very special guest, Eric Alexander, is tuning in, and he's going to be taking your questions. So this is a fantastic opportunity. Even if you don't win, we're all winners today, because even if you don't win a prize, you get the opportunity to ask one of the great saxophone masters playing the instrument today a question, entirely free. So that's fantastic. And if you want to learn more from Eric Alexander, which you probably should, that course, 21 Major Key Explorations, is a fantastic way to do so. So, and one more important announcement for a lot of you guys who may be waiting for the Better Sax alto saxophones to be available again. The wait is almost over. This is one of mine. We received a shipment of the Better Sax altos, and they're getting processed now, meaning they're getting checked by the technicians and making sure that everything is in top playing condition. And once that process has finished, we're going to open up that for orders, but it's only going to be open to people who are on the waiting list. So there's a link in the description for the Better Sax Alto. And if you're interested in perhaps purchasing one, make sure you're on that wait list, because those people get first dibs. All right. And I'm going to send out email notification when we're going to open up orders for that. All right. Great to have you all here with me. And let's start announcing some winners. We're going to start with the winners of the 21 Major Key Explorations course. If you win, not only do you get the digital copy of the course, which you can access in the Better Sax members area, but I'm going to send you the physical copy of the book, which I'm really happy with how this came out. And we've gone through this period of just everything on PDFs, and it's really nice to have a physical copy of the book to put on your music stand. It's just nice to have, and then when you're not working on it anymore, you put it in your library of music books. It's just a nice thing to have. So we're going to go in order. I'm going to start with the 6th place winner. The first 3 winners I announce have won this course. So they're going to get access on the Better Sax members area, as well as the physical copy of the book. So good luck, everyone. And I want to mention that this is an extremely diverse pool of winners we have. I mean, we've always had lots of different countries represented, but this time the winners that we're drawing it's crazy, the amount of countries and different places represented. So let's start with 6th place winner for 21 Major Key Explorations course from soon to be its own country, Texas. Just kidding. From Texas, we have Robin Bone. Robin, you've won 21 Major Key Explorations, the new course by Eric Alexander. Congratulations. And you're going to be getting an email with instructions on what to do next. So keep an eye out for that. The emails will get sent out tomorrow. Okay. So if you don't get one immediately, be patient. All right. Congratulations, Robin. And by the way, Eric is going to be with us soon. So now's a good time to think of a question to ask him, a Good question. And when he comes on, put that in the comments. Don't put it now, because then I'll have to scroll and I'll never find it. So just think of a good question and ask in a minute. All right. Next, we're on a new country. We're in a new continent. And we've got from Melbourne, Australia, 5th place winner, Justin Jose. Justin, congratulations. You have also won the 21 Major Key Explorations course by Eric Alexander. You'll be getting an email. And now we're going back to our original continent, but another country again for 4th place from Gatineau, Canada, in Quebec. Another Justin Martel. Congratulations, Justin. Okay, so that's 3rd, 5th, and 6th place. And that's a great prize. But I know the prize that you guys really want is one of these Jody Jazz tenor sax mouthpieces. And I'm going to be announcing those next. Maybe I'll have Eric come and announce those with me. Here's some of them. This is the Giant. You get to choose from a Giant. If you win, you'll get to choose from Giant, the Jet, the HR Star, or the newest edition, the HR Star Custom Dark. I'll have to put these back here so they're somewhat in focus, right? Now, I'm going to play a clip for you because I want you all to let me know in the comments while we're waiting, while we listen to this short clip. Let me know in the comments the model and the tip opening you would choose were you to win. Let's see if I can get this clip to go. Let's try it. All right, so I see some answers. A lot of you guys are really into the Custom Dark, which is, naturally, and the Giant. I didn't know the Giant. I guess for whatever reason in that clip, the Giant came out as, people that listened to that clip are like, "Ooh, yeah, that one is my favorite." And by the way, what I was playing to test all those mouthpieces was right out of this book. It's one of the solos by Eric Alexander that's transcribed and written out in the book, where he's using the different bits of language from the 21 Major Key Explorations. And that's just one chorus. There's several choruses of rhythm changes, and that's one of the easier ones. Okay, when you're a jet, you're a jet. Who's this? Who's saying this? When you're a jet all the way. Oh no, you guys commenting too fast. I can't hit there we go. When you're a jet all the way. All right. So it's fun. So not too many of you want the HR Star. Maybe it's because you've already got one. Listen, HR Star is a fantastic mouthpiece. It's just priced low, but it's worth more than the price, in my opinion. All right. Well, good luck. And, I'm going to ask Eric to come on and maybe he can announce some of these winners with me. So, and if you don't know who Eric Alexander is, that's fine, but you should learn who he is if you're playing the saxophone. He's one of the top saxophone recording artists today, and he's also a great teacher, which is why we're super lucky to have had him work with us on this project, the 21 Major Key Explorations, and everyone who's taken that course is loving it. This is Eric Alexander, who's going to help me announce some of these winners. Eric, how's it going?
Hello. Hey.
Hey, man. Hey, man, that looks really nice, man. Earlier when we were doing a sound check, you had a different angle. Now you sort of.
Well, I don't know if the listeners need this. Could be TMI, as they say in the business. I'm not in my own residence. I'm helping a friend with a wine delivery that's supposed to arrive because an adult needs to sign for it and the dog can't do it. So I'm in somebody else's house looking for a good connection, but it seems to be working.
Yeah, it's looking great, sounding great. I hope the delivery doesn't come, while you're in the middle of
Well, it's going to
answering some
come
questions.
10 feet from the screen door. So when it comes, I'll
Okay.
say, hey, pardon me 1 second, and I will John Hancock it. That's it.
Yeah, and we want to see what wine you're getting delivered.
Well, I don't. It's going to be a surprise to me as well, and perhaps I'll open a bottle.
It's a bit early. It's a bit early for that, but you can let it breathe.
And other places, it's I'm on an international time zone, Jay. I'm not on any particular one.
All right. Hey, Eric, would you do me a favor and help me announce some of these winners? I'm going to put the third place winner on the screen, and you could say
Drum
their
roll.
name. Drum roll, please. Yes. And you're going to have to do your best to pronounce these. Okay.
Wow, from Thessaloniki, Greece. I have been there. What a beautiful port. So I'm going to say Sergei Stokuka. How about that?
I think that's pretty well done. So yeah, now we're in, so far, what have we had? We've had the US, we've had Australia, we've had Canada, now we've had Greece in Europe. We've got three continents now represented. So congratulations, Sergey. You're going to get your choice of one of these great Jody Jazz mouthpieces. I hope you have a tenor saxophone to play it on. And let's move on to second place winner. And this is going to be more of a challenge, Eric, to pronounce this. Okay. Better you than me. Here we go.
Is this from what is
Chiang Mai?
Pardon me?
That's Chiang Mai, Thailand.
Okay, so I'm going to get this, but the writing is so small. Parinyawat kum pase.
Yeah. Couldn't have done it better myself.
I've never been, but I would love to go. That's on my bucket list.
Oh yeah, Thailand is a magical place.
Actually,
wonderful place.
I know a saxophone player from Thailand. Can't think of his name right now. This person probably knows. He's quite popular. He plays for the king. I can't think of his name. She knows who, or he. Is this a he or a she? Pardon me. Don't know. Not in this day and age. There's a very well-known sort of more in the smooth jazz style saxophonist from Thailand who is very friendly with the king.
Nice.
Can't think of his name.
Well, Parinyawat, congratulations. You've won a Jody Jazz mouthpiece. And if Jody's watching, he's like, oh man, I'm going to have to be sending these things all over the world. Every time we do a Jody Jazz contest, the winners are from the most far-flung places. But, Jody, you got an international brand, man. So that's just, people want your stuff all over the world. So, so far we've got Greece, got Thailand. We've got one more winner to announce. And, speaking of mouthpieces made by Jody Jazz, Eric, you've been playing on the new burn-in mouthpiece, this one, right?
Yes, I have.
On your Alto.
Yep.
And you've been digging it. So you've told me.
Well, I'm going to tell everybody that's out there with all sincerity. Well, that sounds like then I must not be sincere to say it like that. I never played Alto since I stopped playing it, which was when I was 19 years old. I never, ever would touch it and never play it on a gig. I felt that it was impossible to even get around the instrument anymore since I'd concentrated on tenor and all of a sudden I'm enjoying playing alto with Jay's mouthpiece. It's just awesome. I prefer, actually, Jay, I told you I was gravitating toward the 6. I have now went back towards the 5. Doesn't really matter. They're all good. I haven't tried the 7. Actually, George playing your 6. I loaned him the 6, and he loves it. He's just sitting in his living room in Manhattan, wailing away on the 6, and he thinks it's like the best mouthpiece he's ever played. He's going to just practice alto. So wow. There's something going on here that's quite momentous, at least in my opinion, and in George Coleman's opinion. Now, if George Coleman's opinion doesn't matter, well, perhaps nothing does.
We could call it the alto mouthpiece that makes tenor players want to play alto.
It's just that, yeah, tenor players who are listening, it's just that you won't have to go through a process of facial adjustment or, tampering down the amount of air. It will take the air you put through it, and you can play with the exact same embouchure. That's what I'm noticing. I just play it just like a tenor. It's just right, which is wonderful.
Alto, what I've heard you playing on, it sounds amazing. So, and I'm not saying that because of the mouthpiece, but I mean, it's mainly right, you. I'm glad you're comfortable on it. That's what it comes down to. For any mouthpiece, anybody, we want to be comfortable.
Sort of in secret. So I know it works. That's always the litmus test for me. Sometimes I think I sound good, and then I hear a recording on a good microphone, and I say, I've got to go back to the drawing board. But I recorded on an overdub track at Rudy Van Gelder's studio on that mouthpiece with not even a good reed. I hadn't figured out the reed deal, and it sounded great. I was so happy because I was like biting my fingernails waiting for the playback because I thought that my reaction would be, oops, it's not that good. It was just fine.
Great. Okay, well, maybe we'll have to do another giveaway for the Better Sax burn-in mouthpiece at some point. We did one not so long ago. Okay, the moment of truth, the moment you've all been waiting for. All of the hundreds of people tuning in right now. I hope. Say again?
No, I was doing the Michael Buffer boxing announcement. For fight fans here and all those turning in around the world, let's get ready to rumble. Yeah, it's not funny.
All right, let's announce the number 1 winner, and then we'll start to take some questions for Eric. So here we go. First place. I'll announce the first place winner. This is yet another country. We're very international today. Congratulations to Victor Schiffel from Prague, Czechoslovakia, the Czech Republic. Congratulations, Victor. Jody's going to be sending mouthpieces all over the planet, but I'm sure he's going to be very happy to do so. So the winners, you guys are going to get emails, and we're going to give you instructions on what to do next in order to claim your prize. And thanks everyone for participating. And, sorry we can't give a mouthpiece or a course to everyone, but congratulations to those who did win. All right, so let's take some questions. I'm going to jump into the comments here. Don't all ask at once because... And okay, so someone is writing here, I answered 21 different emails. If you do that, you probably get disqualified. The program that runs the contest, it's designed to keep you from cheating. So if you do try to enter multiple times from the same IP address, you're just going to be disqualified. So don't do that next time. Just enter once.
Naughty.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And someone is asking, Kuda Mugbear is asking, how do you actually pick the winners? It's done with a contest application that is very sophisticated, random number generator. And like I mentioned earlier, it prevents people from cheating. So, we want to make it as fair as possible. I don't pick the winners. The winners are chosen by a random number generator. And in this contest, we had, it was like tens of thousands of entries. I don't know. It was maybe almost 30,000 entries. And they get chosen randomly from all of those entries. All right, so let's find let's find some let's check some questions. Oh, you know what? Somebody this is a great question already. Jeff is saying minor key explorations book. Well, Jeff, that's a great idea. I already had that idea and it's already in the works. This is a sneak peek.
Good. You know what? We've already answered your question. We're like omnipotent. We know we shall provide it soon.
Yeah, we're working on it. Now, this 21 major key explorations that we did, that was during the pandemic and we couldn't be in the same place. It wasn't convenient. But the next project, the plan is to film it, in the same location. So you'll have my video production quality with Eric's teaching quality fusion together. So we'll make it'll be even better. That's a great question though. Now, I've got a question for you, Eric. I'm looking for. Oh wait, everyone is asking about. Go ahead.
No, I'm just hearing a strange. I don't know if it's a bird or like an opossum outside going. Wah! So I'm a little nervous, but go ahead.
Okay, this is an interesting question, Jim. I'm assuming Jim, you might be in school or recently finished school. Talk about your embouchure and air compared to the embouchure we were taught in school band.
Huh. Oh, that's a really, really good question. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at myself for having to pause. Don't know if there was a uniform embouchure that we were all taught. That maybe there was, maybe not. The fundamental difference with regard to embouchure, in my opinion, when we're talking about a quote unquote legit embouchure or an embouchure that would be recommended for classical saxophone and a jazz embouchure, is that there's no one way to set your lips and your face, but if you can achieve a result, that will become your default embouchure. And the result you're looking for is to be able to subtone like a fart in a windstorm from the bottom of the horn all the way up into the palm keys, even up on palm key, E flat, E F. If that sounds incongruous, just put on Stan Getz or John Coltrane ballads. You will hear them playing palm keys with, for lack of a better term, almost a subtone sound. What I found, and Johnny Griffin told me when I asked him about how to work on my sound, he said subtone all over the horn, subtone, subtone, subtone. And it sounds incongruous. How can you subtone if you're playing loud? Actually, you can. Once you get that subtone embouchure set up, you can put as much air through the horn as you want. And the beauty of this approach is that the sound will never become hard and ugly unless you want it to. You can play as loud as you want, and you've always got a nice cushion in the sound. And I think that, especially on tenor, that's the fundamental component of all of the great jazz sounds that I can think of. Every single one of them. These people sound different, but they've got a subtone in the sound. And if you had to opine as to why, I think it goes back to big bands, really. If you're playing second tenor in a big band, everything is below a middle C. You have notes down there in the fart zone. And if you're honking them out straight, like a straight tone, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. So everyone had to learn how to subtone. And I think that affected the quality of the sound.
Great. That's a great answer. And this is like a follow-up question, but you've kind of already answered this. Mario Hernandez says, I'm going to college and I'm wondering what are things you could do to work on your sound as I get closer to the professional level. So
see, I will never sell a book if I answer this correctly because the answer is very simple. But I'm going to go ahead and cut my nose off despite my face. The first thing is you have to have a concept of what you want to sound like. How are you going to have a sound that you like if you don't know what you want to sound like? That doesn't mean that from heaven a sudden impulse of your sound will appear in your inner ear. What you should do rather than that is ask yourself, which players do I really like? And then start trying to approximate that sound, because you've already got a concept, you've got an ideal that you're going for. The physical manipulations that one goes through to get a sound are irrelevant. It could be this, that, or the other thing. I mean, you see Lester Young, he's playing side with his horn up like this. You see Eddie Lockjaw Davis with his head up like that. Joe Henderson with his head down. What they're doing physically is not what's important. It's the result. So what you need to figure out is, what do I have to do with my body and my physiology to produce the concept of sound that I want? Once you know what that is, then just go through all the other motions. You can do your overtones, the things that everyone does. But remember, everyone does those things, and very few people have compelling sounds. So number one, you've got to have a concept. And then number two, if you throw in what I just mentioned about the subtone thing, that will automatically give you a lot of juice. And you don't have to spend 2 hours doing long tones. You should be done in 5 minutes, because every note you play should sound good. Every note you play is a sound exercise. You should be listening to yourself and asking yourself, am I producing the sound that I want?
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, this is a good question, especially now that you're playing so much alto. Drew is saying he plays both alto and tenor. Should I pick one and stick to it?
Drew, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you want to be a combo, or like predominantly a small group, well, there aren't very many gigs out there right now, unfortunately. Not for me, not for anybody. But you want to play in a quartet, in a jazz club, on stage, and play tunes, unless you're Sonny Stitt, I can't think of very many people that were playing both, right? Let's be honest. Now, I'm going to give it my best shot, and I have been. This is not easy, and that's the reason why you don't hear this very often. You didn't hear Michael Brecker pick up alto in the middle of a gig. No, he wouldn't even think of it. Or Joe Henderson. Nobody does that. Maybe people pick up a soprano while they're playing tenor. But first of all, you got to deal with transposition, and second of all, the alto is much more specifically difficult than the other horns. We'll talk about that later. If you want to be sort of a studio player, or you have your sights set on teaching, or playing in a Broadway pit band, or you're going to have to know more than alto and tenor. You're going to have to know a lot of doubles too. And there's nothing wrong with that either. If you can do it, do it. But if you're trying to memorize 500 tunes and you got to deal with 2 transpositions, well, it's twice as hard, and then you're dealing with 2 different setups. So I would say pick one, but you don't have to. You definitely don't have to. But at least in your formative years, I would strongly suggest pick one.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Although a lot of people, especially if you're going to be looking at a professional career, if you're a hobbyist, then it doesn't matter. Then have fun.
That's true. But you know what I always say to students of mine that are hobbyists or enthusiasts, whatever you want to call them, and they want to know about what they should do or what they should practice, my answer is generally, you should do the exact same thing that I do. We're just going to agree we're both students of the music, because if we're not a student, then we're God, and we're not. I might be a higher level student than you, but you should do exactly what I do, or I shouldn't say that. If I'm recommending something to a person, it's because I would recommend it to myself, and we want to be as good as we can. So the idea is, because we're a hobbyist, we don't want to suck. We want to be the best enthusiast or hobbyist that we could be. So I think all the things apply kind of universally, but I agree with you, Jay. If you just get a joy out of playing a bunch of different instruments and you don't want to, if you want to be a jack of all trades, master of none, that's fine, because you're a hobbyist. But that's a question the person has to ask themselves and answer.
All right, let's see what else we have. A few more questions before we wrap things up, because we've already been going for a while.
Not doing anything inappropriate. I'm petting a dog. Just wanted to clear that up, universe.
Okay. And Ollie says Patrick Bartley is my favorite alto player right now. Yeah, Patrick is
Not
killing.
that with him. That
Oh
doesn't
no.
mean anything.
Oh, I know. You want to check him out because you did that live stream with Vincent Herring a couple weeks ago at Emmett Cohen's on his live stream, and Patrick did one a couple months ago, and it's been it's got a lot of plays on. It's been getting passed around. So check it out. Great alto player. Okay, so here we have Jake's take. Jake is asking, how did you get started playing saxophone and pursuing music?
Well, I was a budding young pianist and I was pretty good. That's the first thing I did. Then they came around and tested fourth graders on instruments and they gave me a clarinet for whatever reason. And so I was playing clarinet. But by the middle of seventh grade, I'd been demoted, believe it or not, first to bass clarinet and then to contrabass clarinet. I don't even think they have bands anymore. And I couldn't play that thing. And I was humiliated. They were going to throw me out of band. I called a woodwind instructor in my hometown and asked him for bass clarinet lessons. And he said, son, I shall not do that. That's a total joke for you at this point. I'll give you saxophone lessons if you'd like. Sounds like you want to play a bigger thing than a clarinet. And it just so happened that I had some friends in the saxophone section and they were all motivated and good. So as soon as I got the saxophone, now I'm competing with them. So then I started really working at it. And then just things went on step by step. It appeared to me at the end of high school that actually music was the thing that came the most easily to me, but I certainly didn't want to be. I mean, I couldn't imagine I'm going to go to New York and play jazz music from Olympia, Washington. I mean, it's a ridiculous notion. So I went to college and I was double majoring in political science and a little bit of music. But then the bug just kept coming. It was like a good cancer. I mean, you've got it. You cannot kick it. So I finally just announced to my parents, that's it. I am leaving for New York. And, well, it's a terrible thing. My father said, you shall not do that. You drop out of school and go to New York, you'll be selling your ass within a week. And I, okay, well, I'll find a school to go to out there then instead, Dad. And I got into William Patterson College, which was absolute brilliant serendipity luck because I met all the people that would mentor me. I had no idea who they were at the time and pure luck. And I find myself there and the rest is history.
Great. That was good. I learned a lot about you right there in that short.
Perhaps too much.
No, that's great. Interesting stuff. That gives me some questions to ask another time. Okay, here's a question for you from Captain Sax. Eric, I met you at Smoke a couple of years ago and you were playing the Auto Link. Are you still playing that?
Absolutely. On tenor, thus far, until further notice, I have never played any other mouthpiece besides an Auto Link. I've switched. Uh-oh. What's wrong, doggy? Don't throw up. I have switched often in my professional career. However, well, I have switched often. I have never gone back to a mouthpiece. It's like girlfriends. Once you've done them, and it's an inanimate object, just don't go back. It's just not tenable. So every time I switch, that's my new lover until further notice. And then if I find a better one, well, then that one's out too. So the one I'm playing now, I believe I have played it. I've played it so long that it's hard to remember. I used to have memories of 1 year or 2 years per mouthpiece, and I can think of recordings. But I believe I've played this one since 2010. That's my record. That's 11 years on one mouthpiece.
Nice. And is it a vintage one?
Yeah, I on one or two occasions for short periods of time, I played newer links that had been sort of modified or doctored. I remember I did an album with Jim Rotundi. What is it called? Jim's Bop or something like that. It was on Crisscross Records. I think we recorded it in 1998, and I used a modern link. And one time I used a Phil Barone mouthpiece on a record with John Swana. But other than that, all vintage links. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're
Metal.
getting.
never played.
Metal.
I've never,
Yeah.
never hard rubber. Never.
Okay. Well, there's now some good questions.
By the way, people in the listening audience, now that should not, if that comment dissuades you from wanting to explore the mouthpieces that Jay was showing you on tenor, which are hard rubber, that should not, because I didn't play hard rubber because the only things I tried were old Selmer soloists, which I couldn't wrap my head around, and hard rubber links, which I think are even more inconsistent than metal links. So that has nothing to do with anything. Don't let that, I'm just answering the question honestly. And I have a mouthpiece that I like. So you owe
everyone's got to find out what works best for them. A lot of people only want to play metal. It's with metal versus hard rubber. A lot of it comes down to comfort and how it feels, in your mouth too.
Yeah. And okay. That's another funny thing. Hey, everyone out there who's playing a metal mouthpiece, this is something that I think makes me really like your Alto mouthpieces. They're as fat, if not fatter, in my mouth, so I don't feel like I'm playing something smaller. It actually feels the same or bigger, ironically.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the reasons that in general, hard rubber is more popular on Alto than metal mouthpieces are.
You know what I would like to find at some point? And this has nothing to do with anything. If I could find a metal Autolink Alto mouthpiece, like sometimes you see a picture of Bird playing one or Stitt, I would just be curious to see if they could actually work, because I've never found one that played worth a damn. But I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Never.
All right, there's another interesting question. I'm gonna. This says for Jay and Eric. For people like language, but we'll just ask Eric, would it be more important to focus on learning bird heads or individual phrases / licks or solos?
Very good question. Well, you should throw a fourth in. You should listen to Bird. One should listen to Bird on a tape loop, in a constant tape loop for like 5 years. When I was about 19, I took a cassette tape and I just recorded the heads and Bird solo and nothing else. And I have like 70 tunes on both sides of the tape. And I've been listening to it again. That was one of the smartest things I did by accident in my life. I would fall asleep just listening to that, because the rhythm, the pacing, the phrasing, the harmony of modern music still to this day, that's the fountain from which our language sprung forth. There's no doubt in my mind. But the second thing, your question, well, if you're listening to Bird a lot, you're getting the things that most people miss when they read transcription books, which is the nuance of the style, the articulation, and all that. So technically speaking, you don't need to transcribe Bird, because, well, you can just grab the Omni book. Why not? Go for it. I do like the idea of taking the phrases that you adore the most and playing them through the keys, prioritizing them, play them through the keys, utilize them in tunes that you're working on. This is very important if you learn a phrase or a pattern from a player and you are only able to play it on the chord progression, or even worse, the tune that you took it from, you're not maximizing the inherent value of that idea. You want to play it in all kinds of other tunes, and even better, you want to understand why it sounds good in a pedagogical sense, so that you can say, oh, this is use of a blah, blah, blah over a blah, blah, blah. And then you can twist it and do your own thing. So then you've stolen the idea, actually. So I would do that. And finally, if you learn bird heads, if you prioritize that, let's say you learn a standard a week and one bird head, if you can get up to 50 bird heads by memory, you would never need to transcribe a solo in your life. And I mean it, because it's all in there. Those heads are like solos. It's like those heads are exercises in his mind. They don't sound like you are the da 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 da. No, it's like, I mean, it's bebop. It's right there in the head. So learn that.
That's actually great, and that kind of brings it into this next question. which is, hi, Eric, in your course introduction, you mentioned that you learned a lot by preparing it. Please, what was your process to come up with the phrases so that one can also go through that same journey?
Well, it is often said that we learn more by teaching than by studying. And I don't know if that's true necessarily. Doggy, go away. Don't need you here. When Jay said, let's do 21 things, that forces me to sit down and really ponder, well, I got to come up with 21 things that I value that I would do if I were trying to get better. And so when I come up with those things, not only does it reinforce what I already know, but sometimes it's a reminder that I've not been paying attention to something for a while. Because if I'm thinking, what should I show this person? And I come up with an idea, but I myself have not been thinking of it or trying to utilize it, well, then I've just taught myself. Hard to explain. It's sort of like putting your brain under a microscope and saying, what of value is in there? What would you really want to give somebody? And, sometimes I feel that I'm better at advising people than advising myself. I mean, I might be a train wreck in my life, but I'm very good at being a psychologist to other people. So that's kind of what is going on when you come up with those exercises. And it was very illuminating to me. It's like a self-assessment.
Yeah. Okay. Let me take one more question, and then we're gonna stop. What's that?
I was just making dumb jokes.
I don't know if this is a question. Just subscribe to the 21 Key Exploration course. Looking forward to the exercises to all. As Sonny Rollins once said to me, just keep on blowing, man. Okay, Larry. Thanks for that comment. Yeah. And thanks for checking out the course. This is a couple of people are asking this. So let me I guess people think you have like a large lung capacity. So can you talk about what you do to increase your lung capacity?
Oh, well, no, I want to answer this question. I do have a large lung capacity, but that has nothing to do with what you may or may not hear as far as my saxophone playing goes. Now, I don't want anybody to jump up and start to behave in the way that I'm about to tell you, but let's be honest. You don't need to be an athlete to play the saxophone because, well, most of the people who had the biggest sounds and played the best were chain smoking, bad behaving in terms of, health and well-being. And I'm like that too. Oftentimes I'm not criticizing them, but they were not endurance athletes. They practiced saxophone and most of them smoked cigarettes. So what are you talking about lung capacity? If they went into the doctor's office and blew into a tube, they probably didn't have as much lung capacity as some fat lady down the street who didn't smoke. But they knew how to blow, is what it is. So if you want to, if you feel like you want to increase you're calling it lung capacity, really what it is your technique of putting air through the horn. One thing Jackie McLean talked about when he'd be getting ready for important gigs, he would just walk around his house with a towel around his neck like a boxer and his neck strap on, and he would blow a long tone. He called them lung emptying long tone. Like you blow until, pardon me if I offend anybody, until you're using your vomit and shit muscles. Like there's nothing left. You just keep holding. And when it dies, it dies. And then you go to another note. And that will start to get you acclimated to this idea. There's a lot of strength in the core of your body that can push a little bit more into the horn. And that first breath also is very important. Vince Herring told me, and he plays very loud. He talked about lung capacity, but he's not in the best shape. I'm in better shape than him, but he can play louder than me. So again, here we go. He says, when you take a breath, pretend you just saw a ghost. Like terror breath, the most terror breath you've ever taken. And then he says, when you blow into the horn, you just got home from the steel mill and you cracked open a Pabst Blue Ribbon and you sit on the couch and go, ah, that's how you blow. He's right. I love that. See a ghost, relax.
Great answers. And one more thing before we go, I just want to mention, I forgot to tell you guys this, that if you still want to get the 21 Major Key Explorations course, you could save 21% if you use the coupon code 21MKE. There's a link in the description of this video, and that'll be good for a little bit longer, that code. So take advantage of that now. Thanks to Eric for joining us, for announcing the winners. And
it wasn't fair. It gave me a very, it's not their fault, it's my fault. I should be able to read and speak in any tongue. The hardest names, that's hyperbolic. I just want everybody that's listening to know that when I started my Jay initiated our association. It's been so rewarding. He's doing the best job of anybody out there on the internet. And you should all feel very, I hope you feel really happy and enthusiastic that you've entered that quadrant, because there are other quadrants you could enter. And I'm pleased to be in it as well. His products are fantastic. And I hope that we can come up with something even better with each step, because that's what he does. He does it right. And so you're very lucky to be studying with him.
Wow. Thanks for that. I appreciate that very much.
I need some.
All right.
That's
yeah. I'll send you. All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And, we're going to do more giveaways soon. We got more content coming. Eric and I are talking about doing some other things, so keep an eye out for that. And take care, everyone, and we'll see you very soon.
Be safe.
Bye-bye.